Hi, you guys. I'm going to give some people a couple of minutes to come in so that we can talk about this awesome conference that I am so excited about. Very excited. That will be on March 31st of this year. So I'm very excited. I give people a few more minutes to come in. Hi, Miss Jones. How you doing? So, as I told you guys before, this year, March 31st, will be the 4th annual Refuel Recharge Conference. This is a conference that I do every year, and I'm so excited because God has really been showing himself faithful. He has really been showing just his heart for his people. So just to give you a little bit of a backstory, hi, how you doing? Just to give you a little bit of backstory on the conference. Refuel Recharge was a conference that the Lord gave me in 2015. I preached my initial sermon in December of 2013. I started coaching in 2014. So 2015, the Lord really started dealing with me about being lazy. He would give me a vision. I would be ready to run and take over and do what he called me to do. And then about February, March-ish, I would start to lose focus. And so he gave me the vision of Refuel Recharge. And the initial purpose of Refuel Recharge was just to refuel people into the passion of what it is that God is calling them to do. The beginning of the year vision that God gave them, to just refuel them, give them the passion, and to focus, get them focused on where they're supposed to be going. And so what ended up happening was the first conference title was Releasing the Fighter. By nature, I'm a fighter. And like I said, I had just started coaching. And so at the time, the coach that I had, we were trying to figure out if my conference was going to be a spiritual conference or if it was going to be solely business. So once the conference was established and, God got in the midst, I had wrote this speech. I was so focused, this is what I'm going to do. And I got up to the podium, speech disappeared, and the Lord really took over. And so that was the establishing of the Refuel Recharge Conference. It was no longer a conference to revive, but it was a conference to revive, but it was more so a conference where God wanted to revive and impart himself into his people. And so, like I said, the first year, the conference was Releasing the Fighter. So we talked about really fighting for that thing that God had called you to do. Automatically, just, running head on. So the next year, 2016, the Lord for the conference, it was about being intentional and on purpose about the things of the Lord, about the vision that he gave you. So no longer sitting back and waiting, but being intentional about your relationships, being intentional about the connections, because all these things play a part in where the Lord is taking you. So really playing a part in taking and being conscious about those that you connected to. So that was 2016. 2017 comes around, and the Lord really shifts again. And so last year's conference was amazing, just to say the least. The Lord really revealed his heart. He revealed his mind. He revealed his vision about for his people. And so this year, I just want to go over the titles because I think God is so phenomenal and how intentional he was, because it wasn't until I started going through the years that he really showed his plan of what he mapped out. So like I said, the first year we released the fighter. So we got in line, we got ready to go, we got set on the pursuit. That was the first year of the conference. Second year was being intentional. So now we're running and we're in pursuit, but now we're going to be strategic and mapping out the plan. We're going to be strategic in our connections. We're going to be strategic in the people that we connect to and what we say and what we do and how we present ourselves. Third year Third year, we were fighting for the promise. So now we have this promise set in front of us. We know that there's a land that we're supposed to possess. And the Lord not only came into the conference, but he showed up. He always prepares us. And I'm going to tell this story really quick. But he always prepares us before we get to where we should be. The psalmist, recorded artist, who did the conference last year, Tasha Council, I met her maybe months prior to me even asking her to do the worship at the conference last year. And by chance, I never go to Starbucks, but for some reason I wanted some coffee. And I ended up going to Starbucks, walking up, going in, coming back. Well, I didn't even make it all the way in. Going up to the Starbucks parking lot, she was standing there. I see her, the Lord stops, and I just began to, speak to her, prophesy to her, speak into her life. And from there, it was an automatic connection that was made. And so I didn't know then that he would use her last year for the conference to do the worship. And it was so phenomenal because when I asked, she said yes. And I don't want to get off topic, but I'm a shift. We always hear about our gift making room for us, right? And it'll bring us before great men. And when we hear the great men, we automatically assume kings, queens, and people of high stature. For me, a great man is someone who carries the authentic nature and heart of God. A great man is someone who I can see the will of God being released in. Someone who, when you walk, when you speak, I can feel and know and sense that God is all on your life. That's a great man. And so she's not a man, but that was the character that I saw for her. And that was the thing that really just made me love her. And so she will be doing the worship this year for this year's conference. And I'm telling you, for those who were there last year, when you came onto the premises, you could sense the power of God. You could sense his presence. Even walking up the steps, the power of God was so free. And that is an RSB coaching conference. In a nutshell, the heart of the conference is to allow God's heart to be revealed to his people. No performance, no having to buck, shout, put on a show. This is a place of intimacy, a place of clarity, and a place for you to be free. So often in life, we find ourselves having to perform. It's so much pressure. It's so much pressure to be a certain way, act a certain way, and to fit into this mold that God never called us to fit into. And so with RSB coaching, and even with this Refuel Recharge conference, it's not about you being anything other than you. This is a place, and it will be a time that is specifically designed for you to be the freest of free in a safe environment. That's what it is. And so in that safe environment, you can scream, shout, holler, whatever it is you need to, in order for you to get that thing, that place, to get to that place, that deeper place that you know God is calling you to. This year's theme is the year of the champion, right? And Myrna, she is one of our speakers for this conference, and I'm telling you, I've dreamed about it, which she don't even know. But the power that will be released at this conference is going to be amazing. But anyway, this I'm getting sidetracked. I'm just so excited because I love God, and I want people to love him and to know him exactly the same way that I do, even more. But now it's time to go deeper into the things of God, into the heart of God, into that place that he's called us to be in. And like I said, when I was praying and asking him, what did he want this conference to be called? He said the year of the champion. Now, automatically we assume, we're going to defeat the devil, and, we're going to champion and we're going to grow. That's not what he said. When I asked him, what exactly does it mean? Specifically, he said, This is this conference is for those who have come through and became a champion for those. Hold on, let me put it over here. This conference is for those who have come through and became a champion for the cause of the kingdom. The year of the champion, which is now, is not about overcoming the enemy because he's already defeated. It's about being a voice in the silence for those who have no voice. This is the year for those who have fought for those who cannot fight for themselves. And that is what the year of the champion is about. That's what this conference is about. This conference is about those who have championed for the cause. The souls are coming into the kingdom. The people are hungry. The world is groaning for the sons of God to be revealed. And this conference will be a conference centered around the power and the love of God. Eyes will see, ears will be open. Why? Because the world is desperate. Hearts are desperate for more of God. And this year of the champion will be establishing those champions, those people who God has positioned to come forth and take back the people for the kingdom. It's no longer sitting on the sidelines. So often, and I'm telling you, once you come to this conference, you hear just a fraction of the stories of the people who God has positioned. Because I didn't position anybody. I'm obedient, and I say, okay, whoever you want, that's who I put. But once you come to the conference and you really hear the stories and the lives and the things that people have walked through, that you feel like it's just you, and it's not true. I will tell you just a snippet, even right now. Fear, okay, grip me so bad. This is what I do. I'm a speaker. I love people. I love Jesus. I'm a minister. I preached my initial sermon in 2013. So this is a part of my nature. This is a part of my DNA. However, for about maybe a year, I say about 6 months really, a fear like you would not believe gripped me to silence my mouth, to close my mouth. Literally. It was almost as if I was in somebody else's body and I couldn't understand it. I'm like, Lord, what in the world? This does not make sense. I'm called for this. I was born for such a time as this. I know it. And that pushing, yes, Erling, that pushing is what, that championing, becoming the champion for those who have no voice. That process was for now. And so those stories, along with the other speakers that will be there because we're going to have 2 sessions. We're going to have a day session, and then we're going to have an evening session. And that day session, we're going to get real, we're going to get raw, we're going to become vulnerable. Why? Because that vulnerability is in preparation for the evening. So you have to come to both, okay? But that vulnerability and that opening up that place of intimacy will begin during the day. And you'll have that time in between to sit and meditate and allow God to massage that heart. Because when you come in that evening, I'm telling you, it's going to be God all the way. I mean, it's going to be God the whole time. But the one thing that I feel with everything in my heart is that it's not my place to tell anybody what to do. I'm a firm believer that every joint supplies. And so those people that the Lord has orchestrated to be here, those people, everything that the Lord is planning will come forth. It's not for me to tell anybody to do anything. But what I'm saying to you is this: you have to be present. There are some people who have been bound by fear. You've been bound by the wrong thinking patterns. You have been clammed up, trying to figure out, how do I get free? I just want to be. And this will be the place for you to be. So, so I'm excited. I'm not going to give you a whole lot more than that. But tickets. Okay, so to give you just a baseline, the tickets for the day session will be $25. Tickets for the night session are $25. If you buy them together, you get a discount. And so It'll be 35 for all day. The day session will be from 10 to 2, and you will have, we'll give you like a little brunch. So there'll be refreshments there, but 10 to 2, and you'll have 4 speakers, including myself. And what we're going to do is we're going to talk to you. We're going to give you some knowledge, some wisdom, some insight. We're all business owners. We all represent a aspect of the heart of God that he really wants us to learn. We're so used to him being one way. And so I know that everybody that he ordained to be in the conference is specifically there so that you can see him in a different light. So I'm excited about that. So everybody that's there represent the heart of God. They'll tell you their stories, however the Lord leads. And then at the end, we'll have a question and answer session, a session where you can get real, get raw, ask questions. We're here. Everybody loves God, knows God, and has wisdom to lead you back to him. Because that's why we're here, to lead you back to God. And then at night, we will have worship. Dr. Faith Wakoma, my pastor, very excited, will be the night speaker. And however, there is no limit. However the Lord chooses to move, there is freedom. Because I know that the work that he will do on that night, I can't put it into words, but I've seen it. And so I'm excited. You can purchase tickets on my website. So my website is www.rhondasbarnes.org. And literally, I do not have an S. It was not a mistake. Okay. It's www.rhondasbarnes.org. You can purchase your tickets there. If you have any questions, you can send me a message on Facebook. I love people. I love answering questions. I have no problem. If you have any questions now, you can ask them. But I look forward to seeing you there, because I know I'm already looking, because I really believe that I'm going to have a bigger space for everybody that's going to come. So I'm excited. Purchase your tickets. Again, if you have any questions, concerns, I'm here. I'll answer them. I have no problem. But again, thank you so much. And I will be back on periodically, probably a couple of times a week, just so we can talk about the conference. Hopefully I can introduce you to some of the speakers, and let you just kind of talk to them and see what's in store for this year. Because I'm telling you, I know most people feel like January 1st is their new, or that's the beginning place. You know, when January 1st came in, March is the time for, I know for me, for the rebranding and the introduction of the new. And so I'm excited. I'm so excited. But again, if nobody has any questions, I want to say thank you for joining. I appreciate it. And I will talk with you guys really soon. Have a good evening.